Isabella's childhood friend was dying. When I heard the news, I was lying on the operating table. Isabella dropped the scalpel and said to her colleague, "Please take over my husband's surgery." Then she turned and left. Watching Isabella's back, I couldn't hold back my tears. The next moment, a cold scalpel touched my skin. Her colleague said calmly, "Why are you crying? With me here, you won't die." Isabella silently put down the scalpel, threw her gloves into the trash can. "I can't do the surgery. Get Sophia." This was 20 minutes after Leo's accident. My calm and steady wife finally slipped up. She urgently halted my surgery, turned her back to everyone, pretending to be calm. Her slightly trembling hands gave her away. Leo got into trouble, and she was worried sick. She was desperate to be by his side. "Isabella, your husband's heart rate is fast. He's nervous. Are you sure you want to leave now?" My chest was hurting. Slowly, I calmly said to the nurse, "It's okay. Anyone can do the surgery." Everyone in the operating room looked at me with sympathy. I just gave a small smile. When Leo came back, I knew my marriage with Isabella was over. I asked Isabella to leave a dying Leo to operate on me. She couldn't accept it, and I didn't want to put my life in the hands of someone like that. The surgery room door slid open quietly. A tall figure wearing a mask came in. It was Isabella's colleague, Sophia. Their figures crossed. Isabella said, "Daniel's surgery is yours. If I don't go now, I might regret it for life." Hearing her words, tears silently flowed down my face. Embarrassing, right? Daniel, yet again, being left behind and crying about it. Suddenly, a shadow fell over my eyes. A cold scalpel touched my skin. The always cold and silent Sophia spoke softly. "What are you crying for? With me here, you won't die." The surgery lasted 2 hours. When it was done, it was already evening. It started raining heavily outside. Sophia stayed by my side until I was stable before leaving. When Isabella called, the anesthesia had just worn off, and I was sweating in pain. Answering the call, a lively male voice came through. "Sorry, brother-in-law. I'm not sure how my brother spread the news, but it's just a minor scratch." Isabella rushed off without thinking, and I've already scolded her. Then a voice came through from the other end. "You're in your 30s, still so impulsive. Did you think you were in love with me, huh? Bring him a cup of milk tea to apologize." There were rustling sounds, like Isabella took the phone away. "How many times have I told you? Don't let the wound fester. Just stay put. He just had surgery. Can't drink milk tea. It's all for you." It was all peaceful on that end. Only Isabella's brother sounded extremely wronged. "I just said you had a car accident." She hung up the call in a hurry. "Not my fault. You guys don't have to drag me into your sweetness." I suddenly felt sick from the hurt. My chest felt heavy and painful. I swallowed back the request for Isabella to give me some painkillers. I hung up the call without a word. A nurse came in, handed me some pills, and smiled. "Here, Sophia prescribed you pain meds. Take them and get some rest." Because I had to work, I was discharged after just 3 days. As I walked out of the hospital, Isabella's car was parked outside. I instinctively opened the passenger door. A soft gasp made me see Leo retract his body from the driver's seat. His disheveled collar and slightly provocative gaze froze me. "Sorry, brother-in-law, I didn't mean it." He looked like he was about to cry with urgency. Isabella unwound her hair from her watch and scolded him lightly. "Don't speak nonsense. Don't make your brother-in-law misunderstand." Then Isabella explained to me. His hair got caught on my watch while picking something up. I knew Isabella wasn't lying. She was always straightforward. Before we got married, Isabella had told me clearly, "I've had a previous relationship, but after marriage, I'll stay loyal to you." But sometimes that line can blur, becoming a breeding ground for ambiguity, like now. I suppressed the bitterness in my heart. "Isabella, let's talk. I don't want anyone else present." Maybe my mood made Leo uneasy. He bit his lip. "Isabella, I'm going to get a cab home. Brother-in-law looks like he's upset." Isabella remained calm and poised. "You have perfectly good legs. Walk." Leo's face turned pale, forcing a smile. "I'll try." But he didn't get up right away. Instead, he sat there waiting. Even Isabella turned to look at me, her eyes calm and deep as always. Still, I somehow knew Isabella wanted me to say something, preferably something sensible. But I didn't want to endure this injustice. I stepped back from the door, telling Leo, "Get out. There are plenty of cabs by the corner." Leo stiffened, his eyes turning red as he walked away. I sat where he sat before. The atmosphere stifled for a while. Isabella finally spoke gently. No need to take it out on him for me leaving. You know, it was just a typical consultation call. Any case like this, I would have left. I didn't have the energy to argue about what was in her heart. At that moment, I was just feeling really tired. Isabella, let's get a divorce. Isabella slammed on the brakes. Things in the car were sent tumbling. She frowned slightly. Daniel, what's the point? Is it all because of Leo? I endured the blunt ache of my incision and said, yeah, it's because of Leo. Outside, a sudden cry of pain burst forth, along with car horns blaring. Leo had fallen at the street corner, in plain sight. I looked at the crowd outside through the car window, laughing bitterly. Your Leo fell. Aren't you going to check on him? Isabella, exuding coldness, restarted the car. You're asking for a divorce. Why should I care about an outsider? On the way home, the atmosphere dropped to freezing. When we got home, Misty purred and rubbed up against us. It was the cat Isabella gave me the year we got married. Misty likes to sleep between me and her. Isabella stared at Misty for a while and bent over and picked her up with a helpless tone. Misty, Dad and Mom had a fight. Can you make Dad forgive Mom? How about it, Misty? Understanding us all too well, she let out a meow and looked at me. This is Isabella's way of calming me down after every argument. She knows I melt when I see Misty, but this time, I pressed my lips together and said nothing. Isabella took the initiative and bowed her head. Did you take the painkillers Sophia prescribed for you on time? You had her prescribe them? I asked, eyebrows raised a bit. What did you think? That I didn't want you anymore? Isabella moved in to kiss me, holding my face with her long fingers. Her cool fingers sent a little shiver through me. Daniel, I'm not stupid enough to ruin our marriage. She whispered softly in my ear, getting lost in thought before saying gently, let's not get divorced, okay? No, it's not okay. Not even a bit. If Leo had returned 3 years ago, I wouldn't have minded. After all, Isabella and I met through a bookish family meets medical family. We were a good match, but our feelings were thin. I'm a university teacher. Isabella is busy with work. The first year we got married, I can count the times we went out on my fingers. I don't remember exactly when I fell for Isabella. Maybe it was growing affection over time. Maybe it was that rainy night when I got into a car accident and the driver yelled at me. Isabella came running through the rain, a respectable medical professor, fighting with the driver. For my sake, she had bruises on her face. Her voice, helpless yet fond. Why are you crying, Daniel? You can always come to me. This woman I could turn to showed up in Leo's social circle the day I got out of the hospital. I just finished teaching and was getting water in my office when I casually opened my social media, and there was Leo's post, surprising me out of nowhere. His knee was freshly bandaged with a caption, "My penalty for ditching halfway is having the big professor personally come change my bandage." A little while later, he deleted it and wrote a new one. Got in trouble. Next time, I'll wait where I'm supposed to. He added a cute, innocent, and tender, lightly swollen lips, looking just like a pampered kitten. A bracelet Isabella usually wears was visible in the corner. My hand shook a bit as I set my cup down until a colleague called me back from my indescribable unease. I recognized the table from the picture. It was from Isabella's parents' house. She'd taken Leo home. My parents always said I had a strong sense of revenge. As a kid, if a dog bit me, I'd bite it back even if they split us apart. Things had gone so far, there was no reason to hold back. I promptly liked Leo's post and commented, "Nice bracelet," before putting my phone on silent. After finishing my lecture, it was almost noon. I found Isabella had called 7 or 8 times, and Leo 3. The social media post had been deleted. Isabella called again, her tone helpless. "Daniel, why aren't you answering your phone?" "This Monday, I have to teach," I replied. She paused, remembering I never answer calls during class. In those few seconds of silence, I figured she was thinking of how to explain it to me, but speaking first would seem suspicious, so I just waited. Soon, I heard Leo's sobs over the line. "Sorry, brother. I haven't seen Uncle and Annie for ages. Today I stopped by, and Isabella just happened to change my bandage. Don't fight with her over this." I laughed, which I did. "Did you see me fighting with her? So guilty, you must have done something shady. Huh, Daniel?" Isabella spoke softly, reminding me, "Mom and Dad are beside me. Watch your words." Leo was just expressing gratitude to a friend. He didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I was silent too long, because Isabella seemed frustrated. When do you get off work? I'll pick you up for dumplings. Mom made them herself. I felt a tightness in my chest, inhaled deep, and joked, Isabella, the way things are at home, it's him or me. What answered me was a long pause. I had no idea Leo had turned on the speaker. My voice echoed through the living room. Everyone heard it. Isabella's patience ran dry. Fine, suit yourself, she said coldly, hanging up first. This was probably my first Cold War with Isabella in the 3 years we'd been married. Neither early nor late, just as Leo's play, Reunited Lovers, was about to show. The teachers in my office couldn't stop praising it. I heard it's about long-lost lovers meeting again. Quite touching, I gather, since lots of people seem to get back with their exes after seeing it. I shut out all the gossip and brought a banner to Isabella's hospital. Sophia greeted me. Isabella isn't here. Maybe another day you can give it to her personally. Under a light blue mask, she had pale skin, hands tucked coolly in her lab coat pockets. As always, distant. No, it's for you. Thanks for operating on me last time, I said with a smile. Sophia's light eyes studied me without much emotion, and she hung the banner on the wall without a word. I asked Sophia, I'm supposed to see you for stitch removal, right? Isabella's busy, so just find me, she said. No surprise. Isabella had no time for me. During our silent war, she'd moved back home, her consulting hours increasing from 2 to 4 times a week, and she never contacted me. I guess she thought I'd reach out first and go see her at the hospital, but I never did. I made it a point to visit when she was absent, leaving Sophia to handle my appointments. Half a month had passed before Isabella lost her patience and rang me up. Why do you keep going to Sophia for follow-ups? I replied, my shifts are Monday to Thursday, but you only visit on weekends. I chuckled. Why so fiery today? Monday to Thursday, I'm teaching. Where's the time? Isabella's voice was icy. Daniel, do you know what you're doing? Some people are like that. When they stray emotionally, they become paranoid, thinking their partner might do the same. I calmly suggested, why don't you switch your shift to the weekend? Isabella paused. Leo's play was set for the weekend. She didn't want to miss it. I hung up. I looked up and met Sophia's calm and silent gaze. I paused for a second. What's up? Sophia lowered her gaze, and her slender fingers gently brushed over my medical chart. Daniel, you've been prescribed sleeping pills 3 times this week. I can't give you any more. It's okay. If I get drunk, I can sleep just the same. Thanks for everything lately. Sophia stared at my forced smile and suddenly asked, want to drink together tonight? What? She took off her rubber gloves and stood up. Department dinner. Isabella should be there too. Oh, so that's it. As a doctor's spouse, showing up at their dinner is totally normal. So I said yes and happily went along. Ironically, Isabella was usually there, but tonight she wasn't. Seeing me all alone, her colleagues gave me sympathetic looks and took special care of me during dinner. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or not. The alcohol Sophia placed beside me was mellow and smooth, not harsh at all. Before I knew it, I was a bit dizzy. Towards the end, the work group chat of these colleagues suddenly pinged. Sophia's phone lit up beside me, so I saw the message. It was a photo of Isabella with her back to the camera, standing in the kitchen cooking. The image was retracted less than 30 seconds after being sent. Isabella explained in the group, sorry, my husband was goofing around. Suddenly, all eyes at the table turned to me. The atmosphere was dead silent. I realized Isabella was having an affair. It's like a train hanging in midair, thrilling yet not crashing into an abyss. She's just at her parents' place, making dinner for a visiting Leo. I couldn't confront her, or I'd be acting unreasonable. Honestly, I should have seen this coming, right? I've learned to accept this kind of thing calmly. It doesn't hurt anymore. After dinner, the group decided Sophia would drop me off on her way. Before getting in the car, Isabella's male colleagues approached to comfort me. Don't think too much. Get some rest. Having drunk quite a bit, I thanked everyone numbly and then dozed off on the seat. Sophia drove steadily. When the car stopped downstairs, she called my name, pulling me out of a dream. Somehow, my phone had slipped over to Sophia's side. Instinctively, I reached for it, and my tie got hooked on Sophia's watch. How cliché and dramatic. I chuckled bitterly. Sorry, Sophia removed her watch, distancing herself to let me untangle it. Before I could thank her, the car door was yanked open from outside. A cold draft swept in. Isabella stood there, her voice calm with the calm before a storm. Daniel, you'd better explain what you're doing. This was probably the first time Isabella lost control in front of me. Her voice nearly couldn't contain her anger. She gripped my wrist tightly and dragged me out of Sophia's car. I sobered up almost instantly. Meeting her gaze, I calmly said, "Let go of me. I didn't do anything. I saw everything." Isabella, usually composed, flustered and angry for the first time. I suddenly recalled the scene on my discharge day, almost identical. My lips curled into a mocking smile. My tie just got caught on her watch. Don't misunderstand. Isabella must have remembered that day too. Her angry expression froze. Isabella's instinctual reaction disgusted me, because I knew if she were truly innocent, after I said this, she'd argue back, claim she and Leo were clean, accuse me of overreacting. But she didn't. She was flustered, nervous. She let go of me and stayed silent for a good while. So when Leo appeared at her side, she honestly considered reconnecting gloriously with him, even thought about neglecting her wifely duties, being kissed by Leo in the chair. It was my presence that reminded her of her crappy sense of marital duty. I turned back to Sophia calmly and thanked her. "I have some things to discuss with Isabella. Drive safe on your way back." Sophia nodded and left. The surroundings were eerily quiet. I ignored Isabella and turned to walk towards the hallway entrance. "Daniel, let's talk." Isabella tried to grab me, but I suddenly turned and slapped her hard across the face. The sharp slap echoed through the corridor. Anger and frustration that had been suppressed flooded out. I recalled her silhouette walking away from the operating table, the fear and helplessness of being left behind by my wife. Trembling with rage, I spoke coldly. "Isabella, don't touch me. I find you dirty." I didn't know how Isabella explained to the family. In any case, she initiated an end to the silent treatment and moved back in. She bought a ton of toys for Misty and would playfully wave them in front of me. The same old trick. "Daniel, want to hug Misty, please?" I took Misty, half-heartedly gave a few pats. Just when she thought I forgave her, the doorbell rang. My parents showed up at the door. "Daniel, we heard you two are going on a trip." "Ah, take Misty back for now. We'll pick him up when we're back." Not sure when exactly. Sensing the tension between us, my parents silently took Misty and left. After closing the door, I saw Isabella's pale face and tossed the toy she just gave me to the floor. "Think about the divorce. Misty stays with me. The rest can be handled by the lawyer." It was only then Isabella realized I was serious. Her gentle demeanor vanished. She stiffly said, "I don't agree. Daniel, Leo and I are innocent. If you can't stand him, I'll cut ties. Whatever makes you happy, I'll go along." Why am I the unreasonable one again? I pulled out a chair and sat down, speaking lightly. "Isabella, who's to care about your affections? I want a divorce. Can't it be because I've had enough with you?" Isabella's words got stuck in her throat. She demanded to know if it was because of Sophia. I took a sip of water. "Isabella, don't make a scene. Sophia and I are innocent. If you can't stand her, I'll cut ties. As long as you'll cheerfully divorce me, I'll go along." Not even a minute had passed. The words she once said came right back at her. For the first time, I saw a crazed look on Isabella's face. But I wasn't interested in arguing anymore. How you and Leo are, that's how Sophia and I are. Clear as day, honest as the sun. When you're ready, we can talk. That sarcastic remark brought our relationship down to an all-time low. Isabella refused to get a divorce, and we were at a stalemate. But soon enough, she got a taste of her own medicine. When I took fruit to Sophia, or spoke up for her while Isabella was around, or maybe when I was texting Sophia during dinner about my scar, Isabella finally lost it. She slammed down her chopsticks in front of me. "Daniel, what do you want from me?" I stopped seeing Leo. "Can't we move on already?" Her phone showed messages from Leo begging her to respond. "Isabella, are you ignoring me to punish me for asking for a breakup? I'm so sorry, okay? Can we go back to being friends? I promise I won't disturb you again." I put my own phone on the table. "Leo's just out of line with you. Ignoring him is right. Why should I ditch my doctor because you turned him down? My chats with Sophia are nothing unusual. Saturday checkup, does it still hurt?" "Much better. Ready to remove the stitches." Okay. Isabella couldn't find anything wrong, but as a surgeon, her husband going elsewhere to have stitches removed was the issue. I knew what she was going to say, so I interrupted her. "You didn't do my surgery. Don't worry about the follow-up. I'm a stick-with-one-person kind of guy." Isabella sat in the living room, not saying a word for a long time. Maybe I really got to her. After dinner, my wound throbbed with a vengeance. I grabbed my coat, ready to head to the hospital. Isabella noticed my pale face. What's wrong? I pulled away from her touch and opened the ride-sharing app. Seeing my hospital destination, Isabella grabbed her coat. It's late. There aren't any cars. Don't be stubborn. I'll drive you. She was right. My phone just rang as she finished her sentence. Leo's name flashed on the screen. Instinctively, I grabbed the phone and hung up on him. Isabella, I don't feel well. Please take me to the hospital. But Leo called again. I picked up angrily. Call again, and I'll have no choice but to destroy you. Then I threw the phone against the wall, shattering it into bits. Sweat dotted my forehead. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Isabella didn't hesitate anymore and helped me out the door. As she bent down at the entrance to pick up the broken phone, the screen lit up. Leo had texted Isabella. If that's your choice, would the world be better if I disappeared? Isabella froze, forgetting what she was doing. She called someone, threw on her coat, and ran out, even forgetting to shut the door. The loud noise lit up the hallway, and neighbors peeked out at me curiously. I couldn't hold out any longer, and I knelt on the floor. Could someone take me to the hospital? I had no idea it was pancreatitis until Sophia showed up. Just as the doctor said, it's crucial. Delay could mean losing him. On the way, I'd had a hunch and mentally prepared for the worst. Sophia hovered at the doorway. A nurse from her department, a woman with a big heart, stepped in. She assumed Isabella and I had a fight and tried calming me while picking up my phone to call Isabella. Where's she anyway? With her husband in this condition? Suddenly, I felt so tired. At this moment, I had no energy to stop what was happening. The moment the call connected, Leo's voice came through first, hoarse. Daniel, I'm sorry for keeping you pleased for so many days. Isabella's with me now, and she's been kind. Did you get her mad? The nurse's face changed, quickly hanging up. When she came to and tried again, it was off. By now, I was used to people pitying me. I smiled calmly. Sorry, she's cheating. Sorry you had to see this. Maybe it was for the best. Hospitals are gossip central, after all. Isabella, all sunshine and roses, having this scandal publicized, was just the start of her downfall. The surgery was short. I leaned in the hospital corridor as Sophia discussed post-op precautions with the doctor. Then she sat next to me, offering me a cup of hot water. Feeling the warmth in my hand, I said, Thanks, Sophia. I've used you to front. Sorry if that caused you trouble. Sophia glanced out the window. No need to apologize, Daniel. I'm not a naive 20-year-old. What? I asked, surprised, but Sophia just stood up. Nothing. Clara will be here soon to take you to Isabella's rest area. Isabella only learned about my pancreatitis the next day. She rushed to the hospital as I left the rest area. With urgent concern, Isabella gently held my face, a visible relief in her eyes. You probably didn't know, she still smelled of Leo's cologne. I furrowed my brow. Who told you about this? Clara did, she replied. Clara, the helpful nurse from last night. Isabella had a way of hearing only half of things. Leo showed up behind Isabella. He must have thought his secret calls had stirred up enough drama. Little did he know, his words had spread across the hospital overnight. Now many next to me were pointing and whispering, identifying him as the shameless homewrecker from the call. The atmosphere was tense, but Leo seemed oblivious. I found it amusing. Isabella frowned. Daniel, what's funny? I smiled sardonically. Just that it's over for us. Isabella's face went stiff. In a cold voice, she scolded. Daniel, how dare you make decisions without my consent? I'm your wife. The room fell into an awkward silence. My voice was dripping with sarcasm. You remember you're my wife? What were you doing last night when I called you? Isabella's expression darkened. You called? Yes, Leo answered. He said you were quite enthusiastic with him in bed and told me not to disturb you. There was a gasp from the audience. This mistress was audacious, even daring to flaunt it in the hospital right in front of the spouse. Isabella was completely frozen, her hand shaking as she looked at Leo, whose face was now filled with fear. Is it true? She asked, pale as a sheet. Leo began to realize everyone was looking at him. Not knowing what went wrong, he nervously shook his head. He's lying. I didn't. Isabella, I swear. I calmly added to the blow. Not only did I hear it, but your colleagues did too. Isabella, your lover got this bold. How do you expect me to stay with you? Leo broke down. crying his heart out and fleeing in embarrassment under everyone's judgment. Isabella stood there dazed, unresponsive for a long time. Word of mouth traveled fast. By the afternoon, gossip had spread from the medical circles to the theater scene. The chatter was relentless. Leo is so proud to be the other man, isn't he? Why doesn't he stream it live? He always says he doesn't add people unless necessary. Now look at him, a pest. The next day, when I went to the hospital to pick up my meds, I ran into Leo, eyes red from crying. Leo stopped me, begging, "Daniel, we don't need to bring things this far, do we? Just clear my name, and I'll leave Isabella." "Clear what? Pretend I never heard you say those things." "No way. I need my job, please." I grabbed his collar, speaking calmly. "Leo, I did say I'd tear you apart, right? Come on." I dragged him to Isabella's office. "I'm giving you one chance. I've got the evidence. Decide who loses their job, Isabella or you. But my advice, sacrifice yourself. You love her so much, remember? And who's going to support you if Isabella gets fired?" Through the closed door, I heard Isabella's furious shouting. I felt indifferent. Leo seemed to be crying. "Isabella, it's just my possessiveness. I can't stand him having you. We are meant to be together. Why can't I?" "Enough," Isabella replied coldly. "You're just a fling." Leo shouted in disbelief. "Isabella, you said you loved me. And why would I love you over my husband? Am I crazy?" The bite in Isabella's words was clear. "Then divorce him. Let's move away. I'll be your husband." "Forget it." Isabella's voice was distant. "You've ruined everything for me. I can't afford someone like you." See, as long as it didn't affect her, her first love was her heart's top choice. But lose everything, her heart's choice turns to trash. Honestly, I'm just playing with them both. I don't intend to spare either of them. After watching Leo leave, I went in and tossed the divorce papers at Isabella. "I don't want to move, and I don't want to see you. Don't come back to the house. Don't push it, Isabella. I don't want things to get ugly." She sat there, pale and speechless. Back home, I threw out all Isabella's stuff. Sent some personal items to Leo with a note. "They're all yours, enjoy." Leo, having had some theater roles, was already a hot topic. The internet was buzzing once his identity was dug up. Oh, so his reconciliation story is about wrecking a home? Would love to hear the audio of him provoking the spouse. Here's a blogger was at the hospital for an appointment and caught the lover's call in the background. I was shocked someone actually recorded it. Even more amazed it was turned into a meme. He was so passionate about me, covered social media like wildfire. Leo became infamous instantly. Several people caught him on the street, interviewed him. He'd run off looking frazzled. A lot of people started gathering outside the theater group's door, asking, "He still got his job?" They haven't fired him yet. A few days later, the theater group announced in a statement they'd fired Leo. I never saw Leo again. Autumn crept in fast. The uproar over Isabella's fiasco got her dismissed from the hospital. I took a long leave to recuperate, waiting for Isabella to sign the divorce papers. In just a month, everything flipped upside down. The pain of betrayal resurfaced. In the middle of the night, sometimes we had our good times, stolen kisses, the thrill of just touches. That's what made these 3 years feel like a dream. When I woke up, reality was staring me right in the face. I felt hurt, wronged, and bitter, but thankfully, it's bearable. Time heals all things. A few nights later, Isabella called me. I was brushing Misty's fur, so I put her on speaker. Her voice echoed in the empty house. I thought she wanted to discuss divorce terms, but she started reminiscing. It was funny. The one who betrayed first ended up being the most sentimental. "Daniel, remember at the amusement park when I wanted to cross the bridge and you carried me on your shoulders?" I spoke calmly. "Yes. 3rd month after we got married, my birthday. They offered a cake to the couple who finished first, but you fell with me into the water." Isabella chuckled softly. "Yeah, felt guilty all day. But in the hot pot place, you got tipsy and told me you didn't mind." I stayed silent, watching Misty bounce around the sofa. Isabella asked again, "Do you remember the night of the car accident?" "Yes. You got hurt for me." I cried. "And that Christmas afterwards?" "I remember, Isabella, I do. Also, the birthday when I kept working late, the longevity noodles you sent. I remember sunrise on a snowy night, sunset by the lake. I remember." Isabella went silent for a long time, her voice raspy. "Daniel, our memories, too many to finish in a lifetime." "A lifetime isn't enough," I laughed. "But the moment you slept with Leo, All those memories, they didn't matter to you anymore. You're the one who betrayed everything. The one who should suffer is you. I heard Isabella's breath spill out in pain. Isabella, I won't erase what we had because I was happy. I really was. But that's all there is to it. I can talk about the past not because I can't let go, but because I have. No one says you gotta stick with someone for life. I won't look back, and I won't forgive. The phone call lapsed into a long silence. Isabella's voice broke. No chance, right? I patted Misty's ear. Send over the divorce papers. Let's part on decent terms. After Isabella signed the divorce papers, she and Daniel entered the divorce cooling-off period. Back when she got married, 2 months felt like a lifetime. That wedding, pushed by a blind date, always had endless little details to fret over. She was irritable and restless, just hoped it would end soon. But 3 years later, Isabella felt time flew by. Her marriage, which she resisted in every way, headed visibly toward an end. In those last 2 months, Daniel didn't forgive her. That husband who was so easygoing, so gentle, was so resolved when leaving. Isabella often felt like that month she strayed was a dream. Her first love, now unrecognizable after many years. But what was unrecognizable? It wasn't just Leo, it was her too. Seeing Daniel again, it was already late autumn. The trees by the street had shed their leaves. He dressed warmer than most, looked like he was not fond of the cold. Isabella thought about their past and felt an indescribable pain. Daniel, wrapped in a scarf, walked up to Isabella, his tone fairly friendly. There was some traffic. Isabella looked up towards where he came from. It was empty. Her anxious heart found a bit of peace, but mostly bitterness. I'm in a hurry. Let's just get this over with. Daniel walked toward the city office. Isabella had a moment. She suddenly wanted to grab Daniel, hold him tight, tell him she regretted it, wanted to say Leo was just a youthful obsession. The one she loved was Daniel. But in just a moment, the thought vanished into nothing. Daniel mentioned if the divorce doesn't go smoothly, they won't hold back anymore. Her parents were old. She faced losing her job in middle age and having to move far away for work. Once she starts new work, the chance of returning was slim. Her parents lost face over this. Their prolonged illness showed no sign of recovery. She didn't want to leave without keeping some dignity. That day, not many were at the divorce office. The process went by like it had been fast-forwarded. In the blink of an eye, everything was done. Holding the divorce papers, Isabella felt like they weighed a ton, crushing her, leaving her breathless. Standing in front of her was Daniel. The autumn sun slid past the eaves, drawing a clear line between him and her. Isabella stood in shadow, asked Daniel, "What's your plan now?" Daniel spoke coolly. "No plans, just work as usual. Live life as usual." Watching Daniel's hair tousled by the wind, she instinctively lifted her hand to brush it. Daniel got a message, turned to look toward the street. Her hand and his hair missed each other. A black car stood by the corner. She didn't know when it parked. Daniel rushed off, not even turning back to say goodbye. Isabella stared at the hands on the wheel, watched for a long time. Her mind scrambled, her mind a mess, yet she dared not approach, fearful that the one behind the wheel might be Sophia or another woman. So she just stood there, focusing on those hands. The autumn wind blew, tears blurring her eyes. The car pulled away. Isabella didn't get a clear look. Isabella left her hometown, gone for 3 years. On New Year's Eve, she sat in a cold office. Outside, the cold wind couldn't overcome the warmth and joy of fireworks and family reunions. That year again, she didn't make it back. Her parents, already rather displeased with her, family and friends, nearly all cut ties because of that incident. Isabella seemed truly alone. So on New Year's Eve that year, dumplings Daniel brought in the snow became an unreachable dream for the rest of her life. Just after midnight, New Year's messages flooded in. A message popped up. "Did you hear? Daniel got married." Isabella stared at it, sitting frozen for a long while. She stayed silent for a bit, but couldn't bring herself to ask who the bride was. She switched to Daniel's chat instead. The last record was from 3 years ago, when Daniel asked her to meet for the divorce. Isabella hesitated, typed, "Congratulations on your wedding." The fireworks cracked the silence, echoing in her chest. She took a deep breath, pressed send. The red exclamation point appeared. The fireworks just stopped. The world went quiet, just like her heart, faded to emptiness.